Hello, welcome everyone. Today I've got a really great recipe that a lot of people have asked about called a Spanakopita. I've got my daughter Helena.
Hello.
Who is going to show us how to make a lot of the components to this recipe because this is her specialty. It is a bit of a fussy or finicky recipe. There's a lot of preparation and it's not simple, but everyone, if you follow these instructions, you'll be able to do it quite easily. Let's start off with what you need. So we've got feta. Okay, so that's the cheesy part. We've got 450 grams to 500 grams of feta. We've got, this is called ricotta. It's basically a creamy cheese. In Greece, they use tortiro, so a cheese that's not very, very tasty. It sort of makes the feta milder. It doesn't have, it balances its saltiness. We've got spring onions, okay, or shallots. We've got some mint, just a little bunch of mint, dill. You've got your spinach here, which basically there are 3 bunches of this size. So in total, they're about 250 grams a bunch. You need an egg, some olive oil. This is some Australian extra virgin olive oil. And because we're lazy, we're going to use the ready-made puff pastry. So you've got those sheets which you can buy usually from a delicatessen. So you can use either puff pastry, phyllo, it's up to you, but this is quite easy. Or short crust. So what we'll do is we'll start off with the part of the preparation. We've already started doing the spinach, but Helena, do you want to show us and tell us how to prepare the spinach?
Yep, so when you've got spinach, there's a lot of dirt that gets trapped down here in the stems. So I'll show you with one of them. I just sort of twist it off and get rid of that rooty part. And then I just start rinsing it. You need to rinse it really well. Get in there with your fingers, rub it to make sure you get all the dirt out of it because you don't want to be eating the dirt. One, it's crunchy, not very nice and not very good for you either.
So the leaves as well, I see you're doing the leaves.
Yeah, you've got to wash the leaves.
Okay, right, so really important, make sure you prepare your spinach before you start chopping it and show us, we'll have a look at how you basically just do this little bunch. So after you clean it?
Once I've cleaned it and I feel that most of the dirt is gone, well, all of the dirt should be gone really, I just twist it to cut it to save chopping time later. I throw it in and then I go on to the next little bunch, and I just like working in the little bunches because I can make sure that I can clean it all really well.
All right, we'll be back once this is done. Okay, the shallots or spring onions, very simple. Just, you can grab 2 at a time. Make sure you give them a clean. Again, very similar to the spinach. Cut it off and then simply cut them down, carefully. And you can pretty much just keep on chopping all the way, keep them about that size. And these will basically, when we saute them, they'll dissolve and give it a beautiful flavor. So we'll come back when they're all done, ready for the sauteing. Okay, the vegetables, the spinach and the shallots have been chopped, ready for the sauteing. So I'll hand it over to Helena to tell us how to do that.
Okay, so I'm going to put in, this pot's on and hot. I'm going to pour about 2 tablespoons of olive oil inside it and just let it heat up. Just a bit more. And I'll just let the oil heat up a little bit. And then I'm just going to throw in the shallots and just saute them until they get nice and soft. So it should be okay now. You just need to keep stirring it so they don't stick to the bottom and so they will get coated in the olive oil. And you'll know it's ready once they start looking a little bit softer than this, then it'll be ready, time to throw in the spinach.
Make sure when you do this, you actually get quite a few tears forming because it is an onion and it does actually hurt your eyes, so be careful of that. The other thing with these vegetables, Helena, when you prepare them this way, it's also that it's sort of like pre-cooked for the pie, right? You don't have to cook them as long in the pie. And
yeah, and it takes out a lot of the extra moisture.
Okay. And the pie that we're going to make is actually it's going to be in a large pan. Now, you know, I sort of bought 3 bunches of spinach, which is about 750 grams. I think you've made it with even a kilo.
Yeah, I usually put 4 bunches.
Yeah, okay. And because they do reduce quite substantially as they're cooking. So,
Put in a bit more oil.
okay. All right, we'll come back when it's time to put the spinach in. Okay, the onions, how are they going, Helena?
They're pretty much ready. You can see that the stems have all softened, and so I'm going to start putting in the spinach little bunches at a time. So just grab from this closer here, throw it in, and then I'll start mixing that all together. I do bits at a time so it doesn't lower the temperature of the pot too quickly, and if I throw it all in at once, it's not all going to fit in anyway. And once the spinach, for the first few bunches, you can throw them in close together, but as more of the spinach is put in, you're going to need to wait a little bit until it starts melting. Wilting.
Okay,
So I keep going until the rest of the spinach is.
Do you add any extra olive oil, or was that it at the start?
That's it for this process for the pot. We can put some later on in the mix as well.
Okay, we're back when we've completed this. Okay, the dill and the mint is now being chopped. So how fine would you go, Helena?
You're gonna cut it pretty fine. You've got to get rid of the thick stems as well, off the dill and the mint. So get rid of their thick stems and just throw them in a bin. And then I've sort of just bunched them together into a little pile, so it makes it easier for chopping. And then
okay, all right,
just chop finely, and then you'll be done.
Okay.
So the spinach has been added now, and you can see it's sort of wilted down to basically a quarter of what it was before. And you just keep it cooking until quite a bit of the moisture has evaporated. Otherwise, it's gonna leave puddles in your spanakopita, be a bit too moist.
Okay, so keeping it dry is really important. Otherwise, your pastry will get moist, right? Yeah.
Not completely dry. You still want some liquid, but the majority should be gone. So this will probably need another 5 or so minutes of just stirring, leaving it, and then should be ready to combine with everything else.
Okay, whilst the spinach and onion is getting prepared, we'll start off with the other ingredients. So a good feta. Don't go skimpy, a nice Greek feta. This one here is Dodoni, I think, or actually a Mytilene one. So get a nice, decent feta. Don't go skimpy on the cheese. It's really important. That's the thing actually most people enjoy from a spanakopita. So just crumble it. I mean, it's pretty crumbly, okay? Very easy to do. Doesn't have to be ground to a pulp, you know, it breaks into small little pieces like that. Okay, we'll throw it in. It'll melt. People that get the bigger chunks will be happier in their piece. Ricotta, again, this thing here, it's just a very mild cheese, as you can see. Break it through. We're going to mix all the ingredients together and bind them in a minute. Actually, the ricotta cleans your hands. A bit of your herbs, okay? Herbs are so important. The mint and the dill in this meal is a must. If you can't find fresh mint and dill, try to get even some dry stuff from your supermarket if you can, but adding this is really important. And look, with every ingredient, it's a choice, but you know, some people don't like mint. Leave it out if you don't like it. But traditionally, the mint is really important. Some nice fresh ground pepper. Actually, these little brass, they're coffee mills, but they're actually amazing to do peppercorn. So if you can actually grab one of these the next time you're in Greece, go for it. And probably about a tablespoon of oil. Okay, we'll give this a little mix. And We'll be back when the spinach is ready.
It's ready.
Okay, let's have a look. Bring it in.
So most of the liquid is gone. There's still a little bit. You can, if there's too much excess liquid, you can use a sieve and you can press it out before putting it in. So I just sometimes do this. You can see the amount of liquid that's coming out of it. I'm not going to squeeze it all out, and then I just dump it in, and I continue until the rest of the mixture is gone. So have a look at that. If all of that goes in a bitter, it's gonna make it pull up.
Right, the smell's amazing. Even you can feel like you can eat it like this. Beautiful.
Even if you didn't have the egg, you could.
Egg is optional. Helena doesn't really like putting egg in her pita. I don't mind. I think it helps the ingredients bind. Okay. Okay, the puff pastry usually comes with a little plastic sheet. Now this has been defrosted. It's actually been out for a while and it becomes easy to manage. So the aim with this is to push it in to the corners like that and use that as a lid up. This pan has actually been greased up with a bit of olive oil. So if you don't have olive oil, or you will have olive oil because it's a key ingredient here. But the sheets here, as you can see, I'm going to put them as close as possible, and where the gap is, let's stretch it out a bit. You just need to push it. It doesn't, you know, it sticks. Okay, you can use your fingers. So form a nice base, and then that's gonna fall over the sheet that we put in. So we'll be back when we're ready to put the ingredients in. Okay, the sheets have been laid inside the pan. So this is quite a big pan. I normally use a smaller one, but we thought we'd go with a larger one today, but we'll give it a go. The filling, if only you could smell these ingredients, are absolutely amazing. Okay, so just spread them out. Okay. Now, you know, if you had a smaller pan, you could use the same amount of ingredients. It'll just mean that your filling is thicker. This is going to be probably about 1 inch thick or so. And I think that's enough there. Okay, that's it. Now, the last sheet is going to go across the center. So let me just see if we can get it actually across the center like that, and pull them off the sides like that. Oh, we're going to make it here a little bit more. All right. This is the good thing using this pastry. Let me get a knife. If you've got a little issue like that, okay, get a knife, cut a strip across. Put it under. Across the top, fold it over, and this edge here could have done a better job, but I think it might not look great right now, but once it comes out of the oven, it's going to be fantastic. Now, with this, you can either just get a fork, add some holes to let the moisture escape.
You can also score it into pieces if you wanted to.
Do you want to score it, or should we just leave it like this? It's pretty easy to cut. The puff pastry is so easy to cut, but you know, you can add a bit of olive oil across the top. Okay, so like that. There you go. And this is ready to go. The oven's been on, getting heated at 190 degrees, which is about 375 degrees Fahrenheit, so 190 degrees Celsius. We'll put it in here for 40 minutes. Try to put it in the middle of the oven. Okay, let the heat go through evenly. 190 degrees, we'll put it on for 36 minutes. And we're back to see the result. Okay, 36 minutes exactly. That's how long it took to cook this at 190 degrees Celsius. We've started putting it out on a platter to serve, but I've got a few pieces ready for the purpose of this video. We don't want to burn our mouth, so we've got this cooling down. But pretty much, this is a non-stick pan. You know, you give it a slice down, and you can probably serve, I'd say, 3 rows of, or probably 4 by 4, probably 16 decent pieces. So, Spanakopita, everyone, when you're in Greece, it's your breakfast. It's something you serve at a party. It's a snack when you're going down out for a coffee. Let's give it a test, Elena, see what it's like. Amazing.
Good. Hot but good.
Have a look at this. The feta with the spinach. This is a bit messy. I wouldn't be holding it by hand normally. But the puff pastry is just so delicious and crunchy. Everyone, have a look at my other videos. I've done some other videos with Ricotta as well. Give yourself a taste of Greece. It's absolutely delicious. And subscribe, and hopefully, thank you, Helena, for your help today.
No problem.
Hopefully we'll be back with another recipe soon. Thanks all.
Bye.